everyone, this is Godzilla with One, and we are back with Spyro Reignited. And I honestly think we're probably actually going to beat the first game, like the Spyro the Dragon, the first of the three. If all goes according to plan. Like, we have occasionally gotten stuck on a part. Like, I'm not a 100% completionist, so I don't really care if we get everything. I just care that we get enough to beat the game. But anyway, hello. Okay, now please watch Spyro be Spyro while I go tweet the, I'll send this out. And I'll be back to play in a couple minutes. Okay, I'm back. Hello, Sparks. And gonna wait a little bit longer for people to show up. Stay here, I just been collecting these. But we're gonna stay here for a couple of minutes while I let people file in. As we typically do, because you gotta give people a chance to actually file in, and those are very large rats, and unlike Spider-Man, I have a feeling they're meant to be. Have you seen the rats in the Spider-Man games? They're like I know they're there, like the rats and squirrels I know are there just to make things look like more alive, but it's honestly kind of creepy. Like they're like the size of these, but compared to but as big compared to me, I mean, to Spider-Man as they are to Spyro. Well, not that big, but Spyro's actually pretty small. Like this Spyro. You know, one thing I've always wanted to see them do that they've never done is create like a game where you play as an adult Spyro. Like the Legend of Spyro games did get to him being a teenager, which was actually one of the cooler aspects of those games because you got to see him be a bit older and actually able to fly at will. I mean, yes, that required invisible blocks to do. Oh, I've got a new follower. Hello, Animals3 and one other player. But it's one of those things where I would like to act like we know what Spyro would probably look like in an adult, though in this version he'd actually be bipedal. Because all the dragons in this game are bipeds, which I find kind of odd, but in Legends continuity they're all quadrupedal. So I honestly think that kind of makes a bit more sense. Okay, gonna wait until it hits 7 to do anything, but basically, yeah, that's one thing I've always wanted to see them do is Spyro as an adult. Is like show him, show what he'd be like as a full-grown adult, and see what you could do there. Because, like, the thing is, making him a teenager and making him grow up a little bit, it gave him a bit more, like, it gave him the ability to fly, like free fly, which I think is an interesting idea. I mean, yeah, you can't really platform as much when you can just fly everywhere, but at the same time, I think it's kind of an interesting concept to just say, okay, what if Spyro was, like, how can we make this thing unique if Spyro's older? But, and just me. Okay, we shall begin to Gnorc Cove. Got another viewer. Hello. Just in time. You're just starting. But yeah, I just want to kind of see Spyro older. Like, I'd like to see, you know, maybe a game that it shows what he could be like if he was an adult. Like, what you could do with that. I mean, I admit part of his appeal is probably his cute factor, like being both kind of cute and intimidating at the same time. Okay, I think I know what to do here. Ha! Okay, this is fun. This is definitely fun. Okay, that's kind of cool. Now, what does it want me to do with this one? Okay, that just got me hurt. Oh, wait, that was the one providing him with his stuff. Okay, that makes more sense. Hello, other viewer. You are basically you are just in time, basically. And it looks like my the chat thing is working fine, so that's good. But yeah, I like this game. Like, I really do like Spyro. He is a very cool character, and this game is pretty fun, all things considered. Okay, so this guy throws TNT barrels, where the other guy threw metal barrels. I had to headbutt back at him. Of course, that doesn't mean I can't just do that. Ow. Oh, I'm being invited to a community. Okay, I'm gonna have to answer that later because it will interrupt the live stream if I do it now. But this is just one of those things where the game design is really, it's a really fun game to begin with. It can be frustrating at times. Oh. Oh, crud, crud. And instantly lose the health. Okay. I'll do a smashing start. But overall, I just think that Spyro is one of those characters that is fun in a lot of ways. Because he's got the snark to him, but he's also different than a lot of other characters, because most of them are humanoid. Like, even Sonic, who is explicitly not a human, is still a humanoid. He's still a bipedal hedgehog. And it kind of makes him a little unique. It's kind of one of the reasons I like that, the Them's Fighting Herds game, which I'm going to have to stream at some point. I really should. Like, I really do want to stream that at some point. Okay, ooh, okay, I did get that. But it's one of those things, like, I do need to stream that at some point because Them's Fighting Herds is a fun game. Part of the reason I haven't yet, though, is because it's a fighting game, and I am not that good at it yet. So, it's one of those games that I need to get practice with before I'm comfortable with it. But one reason I like it is it's one of the few fighting games where, like, few fighting games period that has a non-humanoid character in it, but it's got all quadrupeds. There are some games that have quadrupedal fighters, like Pokken Tournament, which I've never played, has multiple quadrupedal Pokemon as playable characters. Okay, that was a mistake. And now I've got 1 health life left. Okay, that wasn't good. But Pokken Tournament does have multiple quadrupedal characters. Let's see.
Keep up the good work, Spyro. I expect Nasty's really starting to worry about you.
I'd be shaking in my Gnorc boots if I were him.
I do like the character's design. Is that one that I've seen before? I want to say it is. Can anyone, like, comment to let me know if the chat is working? Like, it looks like it should be, but I just want to check. Ooh, good. Help. And an extra life. Good. And now I need to check. I do want to check to make sure I got everything back here, though. Well, every dragon. It looks like everything's fine. And you get that to the face. Twice. 3 times just for fun. But yeah, Pokken Tournament has all quadrupedal. Has Suicune and a few other characters that are quadrupedal. I want to say there's some other fighters that have quadrupedal characters. Perhaps. I'm trying to think which one it is. Hi. Okay, so I guess I need to do something with this. Oh no, I can't. I can headbutt. It's just a terrible idea. But yeah, like that's the interesting thing is we've got fighters that have some quadrupeds heads, but Them's Fighting Herds is the only one that has all quadrupeds, which is interesting because it gives things a different bit of an identity than other fighters have. Like, not a huge difference, but it's a sizable enough difference that you notice. I know Them's Fighting Herds has not been exactly the most quickly updated game, but so far it seems like they're trying to polish it before they move on to the story mode, which I can appreciate. And I totally appreciate that some people just don't want to invest in the game until it's done. Like, until it's got everything done. Okay, I'm going to go check to see if the chat's working. So I'll be back in a second, because I just want to double check to make sure the chat's working. Okay, chat's working, good. Hey, Holy Cross! Glad you could make it. And yeah, he has a pretty cool, like, Gnorc might be evil, and maybe not, oh crap. And I died. He might be evil, and he might, not be the smartest of the guys, but he does have some pretty cool looking stuff. Like, I'd say he's probably, like, he's got a lot of like, he's not a smart, like, extremely smart character, but he is a very creative guy from the looks of it. I can't get up there, okay. Well, I might be able to, oh, you're alive again, okay. And now you're dead. Again. But, yeah. I should not have done that. Okay, that does not get it. So, basically over the weekend, I saw, like, last night actually, no, it was the night before last, I saw Godzilla the Planet Eater in a live stream with Tar. Hey, Ow. Hey, Trooper, glad you can make it. You just came in time for me to get squashed. But, yeah, it's one of those, like, basically, yeah, I saw Godzilla the Planet Eater. And, you know, everything's subjective. Everyone has different opinions. And if you like it, that's fine. I really, 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 really don't. Again, if you like Godzilla the Planet Eater, that's fine. You know, like what you want to like. There's plenty of stuff I like that other people don't. But to me, Godzilla the Planet Eater is probably one of the worst Godzilla movies I've ever seen. Like, if you like Godzilla the Planet Eater, again, fine. Like what you want to like, but to me, it just is not a good movie. In fact, probably if I'd watched it on my own, I probably would have stopped watching it.
Especially by such a little dragon. What I mean is, I always believed in you, Spyro.
You gotta believe.
Okay, that was cool. I mean, I like his comment there. Yeah, he isn't. Like, one of the co-directors of the Godzilla anime trilogy is not a Godzilla fan. And you can tell. You can definitely tell. Yeah. And the thing is, like, he was told not to actually look into Godzilla, which is terrible advice. Like, you want someone to direct a Godzilla anime trilogy, and you don't want them to you don't want them to know what like to look into for Godzilla, right? To me, that is just terrible advice. Like, on a scale of 1 to 10, that is probably an 11 in terms of how terrible the advice is. They apparently wanted to get a new audience, like get some new audience, which I can completely respect. But at the same time, if that's what you're going for, you don't want to alienate the audience you already have. And to me, that is the issue. Like, the issue to me is that the Godzilla anime trilogy doesn't, like, apparently it has drawn some new fans, but not really a lot of them. And from the look of the, like, box office numbers and stuff, it has not been, like, it got progressively worse. Like, the first one I don't think did all that well. Like, it did okay, but it didn't do all that well. Then, City on the Edge of Battle did not do very well at all. And, I mean, didn't do all that well. And I'm not sure what Planet Eater is. I haven't heard anything about the box office, but I've heard that a lot of people... Like, people are divided. Some people think Planet Eater is the best in the trilogy. Some people think it's the worst. I'm in the latter category. I think it's the worst film in the trilogy. And I won't spoil anything for people that might still want to watch it. Yeah, it is basically a similar situation to that. Only I think in this case it's... I'm trying to debate which is actually worse, because the thing is with the 98 film, the two directors knew about Godzilla but chose to not do it, play him right. Like, the problems with Godzilla 1998 were entirely intentional on the part of the developers. I mean, the part of the creators. The problems with Godzilla Planet Eater are at least in part due to ignorance, because he did not know anything about Godzilla. But at the same time, that raises a couple questions, like, you know, does that excuse everything? Like, does that actually excuse anything? Okay, I have 100% of this level. I will say that I'm pretty sure Planet Eater, they basically tried to make Haruo, I cannot pronounce his name, every type of anime protagonist they possibly could in one character, and it didn't really work for any of them. Like, I'm not going to spoil anything, but to me it feels like they were trying to make him a harem anime protagonist at one point. Like, it's just one of those things where I don't know what they were going for. And I think a bigger problem is, yeah, like, that's the thing. Godzilla 98, if you take away its connection to Godzilla, it's a decent monster flick. If you take away the connection to Godzilla in the Godzilla anime trilogy, it's still a mess. So there is that. Like, at least the Godzilla 98, if you watch... And the thing is, that's actually how you should watch it now, because canonically... Oh, crap. You have a Gatling gun. Oh, apparently, an interesting fact, these guys were redesigned from the original games who have a goof Gatling gun, not to censor anything, but because the developers thought it gave the Gnorc a bit more character to have a weapon like that. And I actually agree with that. I think that that fits them very well. But, yeah, like Godzilla 98, for all of its faults, if you watch it as its own Godzilla, as just its own film, as its own monster movie, it's actually decent. And I think, and that's how you really should watch it, because canonically, if you watch GMK, like Godzilla, Mothra, King Ghidorah, Giant Monsters All Out Attack, that's basically what it is now, because it's stated in Godzilla, Mothra, King Ghidorah that the 98 film happened in that timeline, but it confirms that it wasn't Godzilla. It confirms that it's a different monster that was mistaken for Godzilla. Yeah. Oh, and yes, okay, you know, that's what I'm going to bring up. For starters, Trooper is right. It's basically a big pile of anime cliches. Like, you know, and like I said, Haruo is basically a collage of anime protagonist tropes. Like, again, if you plant, like, the first third of Planet Eater basically makes him a harem anime protagonist in a very depressing way, but basically that's what he is, because, okay, minor spoilers, essentially by the end of the first third of Planet Eater, every named female character that matters, except for Mothra, has somehow been in a romantic scene with Haruo. And thank goodness it's not that Mothra was not, but... Cosmic. I remember you, I think.
Thank you for rescuing me.
Like, those that's relatively minor spoilers, because that doesn't say anything beyond that, but... And, yes, the Godzilla series, the anime series, was way better. And here's the thing, at this point there have been three Godzilla animated series. The Hanna-Barbera Godzilla, Spyro, but the Hanna-Barbera Godzilla, the Godzilla the Series Godzilla, and the anime trilogy. The animated series from Japan, the actual, you know, by the people that actually created the original Godzilla, is the worst one. Like, you can say what, like, the original Hanna-Barbera Godzilla is cheesy, formulaic, and over the top, yes. But it's still an enjoyable time. Like, I'll just say this: the battle between Godzilla and King Ghidorah in this movie is longer than an entire episode of Godzilla Hanna-Barbera. The Godzilla Hanna-Barbera episode that was basically not King Ghidorah was a better King Ghidorah story than King Ghidorah. How do you guys pronounce King Ghidorah? I pronounce it King Ghidorah most of the time. But I hear people call King Ghidorah. And the original movie did call him Ghidorah, but... Yeah, and here's the thing, like, here's the big surprise with that. Urabushi's original intention, like, if he had had his way, instead of Mechagodzilla City just being a city the entire time, at the end it would have all got tied together into a giant...
Be on the lookout for Gnorc Commandos, Spyro.
They better be on the lookout for me.
Essentially, Urabushi's original idea was for the movie to climax with Mechagodzilla City combining into a 1 kilometer tall Mechagodzilla, like a 1,000 meter tall Mechagodzilla. Which, why didn't we get that? Okay, so what is this expecting me to do with this? Oh, it's expecting me to run all the way back there to get back. Let's try it at least once. But yeah, originally Urabushi apparently wanted to have the Mechagodzilla City combine into a 1,000 kilometer tall Mechagodzilla. 1,000 meter tall Mechagodzilla, kilometer tall. Which would have been awesome. Like, that would have been, and here's, and I'm gonna say this now because yesterday I watched some of SSS Gridman, the new Gridman anime. The one problem I have with the Godzilla anime trilogy is they don't do anything you couldn't do with a suit. Like, nothing happens in the Godzilla anime series that they couldn't have done in, on a set with a suit. In fact, it probably would have been a better idea to do with that. I can't actually watch that because, well, I'm on this, so I'll watch it, I'll look at it later. But, like, if you look at and everything, and like, you could say maybe King Ghidorah's designs, but, again, King Ghidorah's design is one of people's problems with the movie. It could be done in CGI, which basically it is, because it's a CGI animated movie. Yeah, and that is another thing. Barely anything of note happens in the Godzilla. Oh yeah, that one. Okay, I've seen that, which is better than the entirety of City on the Edge of Battle, because that actually does things you can only do in animation. Like, I love that video. That's a really good video. And here's the thing. That Mechagodzilla does nothing that, according to his stats, Anime Mechagoji cannot do. According to his stats, Anime Mechagodzilla is capable of literally everything depicted in them. They just decided not to. Now, the director decided not to, because explicitly the director apparently vetoed a lot of really good ideas. Like, let me think. Ow. Like, again. Alright. See you in a minute, Trooper. But, again, basically the original idea was for 1 kilometer tall Mechagodzilla. Actually, I'm glad, you say it's a shame, but I'm actually glad they didn't add Kong to the trilogy, because I do not want to see how they would have screwed him up. Because somehow they managed to screw up every single kaiju in one way, shape, or form. Like, you know, the thing is, I don't have a major issue with the design of Anime Godzilla. Like, design-wise, he's actually kind of cool. Like, I actually do kind of like Anime Godzilla. Like, from a design standpoint. But the problem is, he does not work as an anime Godzilla. And I'm going to get to why in a second. But I have not really read a lot. I don't read a lot of comics in Zion. But basically, and here's my problem with Anime Mechagodzilla. I mean, Anime Godzilla in general, like the way they design him. Animated format is supposed to be for things that you cannot do with a suit. Like, you cannot do, like, that would be harder to do in practical. And now, how do I get up there? It's clear I can, and I just killed myself. But if you were to go... I'm trying to think of what I was about to... Like, if you look at Anime Godzilla, he's a 300 meter tall brick. He moves less than Shin. And Shin Godzilla doesn't move all that fast. Like, Shin Godzilla doesn't move all that much. The Anime Godzilla moves, yes, but he does not move much. I would not like that, because I did not like Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe. I don't like Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe. I just don't. Like, if you like it, that's perfectly fine. Like, you like what you want, again, like what you want to like. Okay, here's what I do. No, this is not. This is what I did. So how do I get up there? I mean, clearly I can. But no, I do not like Deadpool kills Marvel Universe. I never really have. Like, if you like it, that's fine. But to me, it's just kind of it's a gimmick thing. Like, it's a quick little gimmick. Like, it's a gimmick story to draw people's attention. But yeah, that's a good description of the anime trilogy. But back to what I'm saying about Godzilla Earth. He does not do much of anything. Like, if you really look at everything Godzilla Earth does throughout the entire anime trilogy. Oh, okay. Thank you. But if you look at everything Godzilla Earth does in the animated trilogy, name one thing he does you could not have done with a suit. Name one thing any of the monsters except Ghidorah that do anything you couldn't have done with a suit. And with Ghidorah, name one thing he does that you could not have done just by CGIing him into the movie. I mean, into a live action movie. Okay, I need to get over that too. You can't, because they don't take any risks. Like, they don't make Godzilla do anything he wouldn't do in a suit. So why does it need to be animated? Like, in all honesty, I think probably they could have gotten away. Like, if they made the same plot as the Godzilla animated trilogy as a live action movie, they probably would have saved money. Because the point of using animation is to do things you can't do in live action. But the problem is they don't do anything. Huh. Yeah, I do agree with that. Thank you for the tip. But like, that's my problem. That's the biggest problem well, one of the biggest problems. There's a lot of big problems I have with the animated trilogy, the anime trilogy. But you've got one environment. Well, two environments if you count Mechagodzilla City as its own environment, but Godzilla never even goes into the city, so that's not really an environment. And it's not a creative environment to begin with. Wait, what's this then? So is this the boss fight with Nasty Gnorc? Okay, we're already here, I guess. But what's this then? Is this like an ultimate final dungeon that I just didn't unlock? But like, my biggest issue with that's kind of the thing with that is I'm trying to think of how to word it. Okay, you've got only like two environments in the entire, well, three environments. You've got the spaceships, which does not change at all in all the movies, and just kind of floats in the same place the entire time. Oh. Okay, I don't really care. Like, I hate to say that, but I'm not one of the people that needs 100%. Hello, Gnorc. So no, I don't think there was a cutscene in the original game. I mean, there probably wasn't a cutscene. You know, I get the feeling Gnorc is probably just like, hey, pay attention to me! Ow! Okay, so Gnorc can still hit. Actually, Gnorc's attacks can actually do a lot of damage. Is that what this says? Oh, crud! You know, maybe I should hit Gnorc and get him out of my way just before I start doing that. Oh, I can't. Okay. Okay, he actually has to... Okay, why do you suddenly have really good aim? Because I've got to get these guys to actually attack me. Okay. But basically what I'm saying is you've only got to cover a handful of environments in the entire anime trilogy to really care about. So there's that right off the bat. Like you get the Ultron, I think the Atrum, whatever it's called. These ships, like the ship that everyone is like the survivors of humanity on. You get the forest. And you kinda, sort of get Mechagodzilla City as an environment, I guess. But, you see, that's the problem I have there. Yeah, it's more like Attack on Titan, but... Even like in the third movie, we don't get a new environment at all. Is that where this goes? Okay, so let's go back and get those. But like that's my point. I'm saying here is Godzilla and the other monsters don't do anything that you couldn't do with a suit or CGI in Ghidorah's case. Like you could just have it be a live action suit, all live action. Ghidorah is CGI, and it would still work as live action. Like, I mean, you could say maybe the vulture fight would be harder. Like maybe you could say the vultures are one of the things, but it's kind of a waste to make an animated thing and not do anything actually animated. I mean, well, yeah, actually animated. Now compare this to the Hanna-Barbera Godzilla, which had tons of environments. Like nearly every episode was a different environment. Like nearly every episode took place in a different place. The monsters were wildly creative and different. Godzilla could move in ways he couldn't do in the normal show. Yes, it was limited animation, but Godzilla still was a bit more fluid in how he moved than he was in the movies. Like, he still could move a bit more fluidly than a suit actor could at the time. Oh, crud. Please tell me I don't have to start all the way from the beginning. I have to start all the way from the beginning now. Crud. Well, I mean, now I don't have to worry about any of the gyms, so I guess that's... But... You know, again, the Hanna-Barbera Godzilla... Yeah, that's what I was about to say. But... But Godzilla, but, you know, that's one thing that they had, like, at the time, you gotta remember I'm saying at the time, the Hanna-Barbera Godzilla could move a bit more freely than a suit actor could. He could do things a suit actor couldn't do. And he did. Godzilla the series, like, actually used the fact that Godzilla, the TriStar Godzilla, was fast. Like the fact that the TriStar Zilla is fast was something that they used a lot in Godzilla series. The fact that they could make monsters that were not just, you know, static, like, you know, the fact that they didn't make the monster, like the fact that they could make monsters that were not limited by a suit was used. Like, look at the, I think it was in the second episode, the second story, with the Hedorah analog, that is this big blob monster, that they actually have able to shift and move at will, that instead of having to rely on special effects, it changes from one form to another very fluidly. That's something you could never do with a suit. That is where animation shines. Like they had King Cobra, who could, unlike Manda, could actually move very fluidly and do a lot of things that Manda can't. Like there was a lot of creative character designs in Godzilla series. And a lot of creative fight scenes, like the giant bees and, you know, stuff like that. Things that would be impractical to do under normal circumstances. Okay, I'm missing something. Am I supposed to do something different there? But it's one of those things where Godzilla and... Okay, simple enough. Shoot! Okay, that's where it's gonna be hard. I mean, it's not so much hard as... I mean, I've got as many tries as I need to. And this is the hard... Like, this is the hard... Like, the more difficult part, because he doesn't actually seem to attack you in that portion, so... But... Like I said, that's just the problem with the Godzilla animated trilogy, is they don't do any of that. My mic fell out of my ear. But, like, that's basically the issue with the Godzilla animated series, is trilogy. They don't do any of that. You can make it a live-action series and make Ghidorah CGI, and nothing is different. And that right there is my biggest issue with the Godzilla animated trilogy. Well, one of the big issues. Another issue is that, to me, Haru is just completely unsympathetic. Like, in all honesty, if I were to make the Godzilla animated trilogy, what I would do is make Godzilla a bit of a more energetic character. Like, make him more like, I don't want to say make him like Zilla. Like, you don't want to make him that light, but, has anyone ever seen the Godzilla Neo comics? Like, Godzilla Neo, Matt Frank's Godzilla Neo stuff. Like, make him like that Godzilla. Or make him like the original idea for the American Godzilla was from the Godzilla vs. Griffon Lost Project idea. Make him that. Because that Godzilla was more flexible and more... Okay, I gotta actually... hang on, my hands are getting a little sweaty from holding the controller. But... make him like that Godzilla. Make him a Godzilla that actually has some range of motion. Like, is more like an actual dinosaur in how he moves. Do that. Don't make him a big block. Like, don't make him move at the... Like, the thing is, again, he's slower than Shin. Like, and Shin Godzilla isn't very fast. Like, that's the thing. Shin Godzilla is not a mobile character. Wow. Hey, didn't he go down in one hit in the original? I want to say he did that with a... Oh, crap.
Toast, Gnorc.
Okay, so that's the first game down. Yeah, kinda. That is kind of
Took so long. Almost forgot about you guys.
What about Ganasty Gnorc?
Nasty Gnorc is toast.
So now there's order again in the Dragon Kingdom?
Well, mostly. I've still got some treasure to find.
What will you do next?
I'd say the sky's the limit.
Okay, now... I'm not sure what I want to do at this point, because... I mean, I can just move on to the next one if I really want to. Well, actually, these are kind of creative credits, so I'm going to watch through them. This is a good game. I like this game. Like, this is a really good game. I didn't 100% complete it. I honestly don't have any interest in 100% in completing these games. I'm sorry, it's just not my style of doing things. Like, obviously we're going to be moving on to Ripto's Rage, but I kind of like to divide stuff like this up into separate live streams. Like, that's how I kind of like to do things. Okay, that's funny. So, I'll think about it until the end of the credits here, but I can try. I'm just not 100% completist. I might do that at some point, but okay, that's funny. That one is funny and definitely fits Spyro. But basically, yeah, that's kind of the issue is... And here's the thing, if you look at the Godzilla Monster Apocalypse prequel novel, and the Godzilla Project Mechagodzilla prequel novel, which are both of, they are not been released in America, and probably won't be, because I don't think the Godzilla anime trilogy has done very well over here. But that's the problem I have here, is that there's so much potential in those novels. Like, there's some really awesome scenes in those novels. If you look at them, if you look at what's in them, like, we get this, Gigan's a good guy, which is kind of weird, but he gets some really epic fight scenes with Godzilla. There's a fight scene where Mothra beats Godzilla at one point. Like, she doesn't kill him, but their first fight between Mothra and Godzilla ends in Mothra beating him. Like, Anime Mothra beat Godzilla in their first fight. But we never see that. We never actually learn, like, what happened to Mothra. We know she's dead. The adult Mothra's dead. Aw, that's kind of sweet. But it's just one of those things where I'm like, why? Why do they do things the way they did? I'm trying to think here, like, what can I mention here? Like, it's just one of those things, like, it feels like they just... And I would say that it felt like they were just doing their own thing, but that would require them to actually be doing things competently. Yeah, but the thing is, we never see it. Like, we never actually see Mothra beat Godzilla, and because we just hear, oh, Godzilla killed the adult Mothra, but her eggs survived. Like, that's all we know. And yes, Godzilla did eventually kill Mothra, the adult Mothra, but she beat Godzilla in the first fight. And it's explicitly stated, like, that if she, and, like, Batra basically went, Leroy Jenkins against Godzilla and died. If he hadn't done that and they fought Godzilla together, they explicitly would have killed him. Like, Mothra and Batra could have killed Godzilla together. That is explicitly stated. They could have killed Godzilla. And they never do anything with that. Like, it's in the prequel novels, it's mentioned, like they mentioned, yeah, Mothra and Batra could kill Godzilla if they worked together. But because Batra is dead, they couldn't, but they never do anything with that. Like, Mothra, like, if you're expecting Mothra to save the day in Planet Eater, she kind of does a little bit, but she doesn't. It's one of those things where her contribution is so minor that yes, it's important, but it doesn't really help. That's cute. But, I mean, it helps in a way, but it doesn't help in a way, and... Okay, here's what I would do if I was put in charge of a Godzilla anime series. If I was I was the director instead. I mean, yes, I'd probably still have to work with Urabushi being Urabushi and wanting to kill 95% of the cast. I think they're interesting. Like, I think the Rules of Earth comics are interesting. I haven't really gotten to look at a lot of them, but the art's nice. Like, the art is definitely nice, and I enjoyed kind of what I saw. But basically, one of the big problems, Godzilla Planet of the Monsters, yeah, you can forget she's in the trilogy. Her involvement is that minor that if you literally cut out the Mothra and the Mothra tribe and just have them stumble across Mechagodzilla City on their own, barely anything changes, except there's not really a justification for why Haro is not assimilated by Mechagodzilla. But you can work around that just by, he shot the guy quick enough. But there's no... Yeah, she's in it for 5 minutes. No, she's not even there for 5 minutes. Her screen time is like a minute. And so, but I imagine, like, the thing is, there's a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff that implies, oh, that's kind of cool with the plot. Oh, that's cute, too. Like, a lot of these, I like this artwork. I really do. This is really good artwork. Planet of the Monsters should not have been the first movie. It should have been the second movie. The first movie should have been what's in Godzilla Monster Apocalypse, where all the monsters first appear. Not show all of it, but, like, show a progression of events and show certain things that happen, like Gigan versus Godzilla and Batra versus Godzilla. And end on Mothra and Godzilla fighting for the first time. And then explain, later down the line that Mothra eventually died and how she died. But, end on that. Have that be the stinger. Have the stinger be Mothra appears after, the colony ships leave and hit and, drive Godzilla off. Or, like, end on a hopeful note that way. Then you go into Godzilla Planet of the Monsters, and actually have it be a Planet of Monsters. That's the problem. It is not Planet of the Monsters. It's Planet of Jungle with Godzilla and a few other things. It's Godzilla in a forest, like on a jungle planet. There's not other monsters. Like, they don't have to fight Godzilla. They don't have to do anything. Just have there be other monsters. Have it be like Skull Island in Godzilla in Kong Skull Island. Just give us that. Like, give us this whole ecosystem of monsters. Like, they don't have to attack humanity. They don't have to fight Godzilla. Just have there be an ecosystem of monsters. After Earth, but good. Or better. But, yeah, kind of. But more like, you know, Kong Skull Island. Have it be like an ecosystem of monsters. Like, Godzilla Planet of the Monsters, in and of... And, okay, here's the other main change. In Godzilla Planet of the Monsters, in my version, Haro is an antagonist. He is Colonel Packard from Kong Skull Island. Because the biggest problem people have with Haro in Planet of the Monsters is everyone that dies is his fault. Every person that dies in Planet of the Monsters is Haro's fault. So make him the antagonist. He is the antagonist of Planet of the Monsters. Have maybe Yuko be the protagonist. Or have him be a villain protagonist. Or have some of the other characters be, you know, be a focus. Have that scientist be the focus. He was interesting. But then when we get into City on the Edge of Battle, hi XX, you missed me. You missed me beating Gnorc, but well, no, I know you were watching in the background and just couldn't comment. I went on a tangent on Godzilla Planet Eater because we're just watching the credits here, because there's actually some pictures I like looking at. But hello, glad you can make it. But here's the... Okay, there are several different changes I'd make to City on the Edge of Battle. First off, and here's the thing. Yeah, that's what they went for. And I don't really care that you spoiled the ending because it's a bad ending. And I think everyone here is probably already watching it or just doesn't have any interest in watching it. And the thing is, the reason for it felt really flat. But in City on the Edge of Battle, like in Monster Apocalypse, in the novel, I mean those Project Mechagodzilla, Mothra had 2 eggs. Yeah, I defeated all the... Again, like that is actually... that is what Gnorc would probably say. Even though he started it. And yeah, if it was Dark Spyro, that would probably be what happened. But in Project Mechagodzilla, there's the... We find out Godzilla had 2 eggs. I mean, Mothra had 2 eggs. Yeah, he would. Mothra had 2 eggs. There were 2 eggs. We only see 1 in the movie. So... yeah, probably. I mean, it's a Yorubushi thing, so it could have been his idea that Haru died, but I don't think he had much control over the way he did. But there are 2 eggs. That was in Project Mechagodzilla. So, let's have there be 2 eggs, 1 Mothra, 1 Batra. The Hotua tribe have only ever been able to communicate with Mothra. They have never been able to get Batra to respond. Well, actually, elsewhere in the game, they actually do fire real bullets, so that was actually a creative decision by the creators intentionally to do that, to make them have a bit more uniqueness. But basically, Batra responds to Haru. So basically, he forms a connection with Batra, because, you know, Batra's the more ruthless one. So Batra connects to Haru, but does not give him like, doesn't fully connect, because Haru is still being very selfish. But... yeah, maybe. Batra, like, that's the interesting thing, and Batra in the animated, like, Mothra and Batra in the animated series, like, in the anime-verse, like, if we're just going by the anime-verse, huh, interesting. Like, in the anime-verse, Mothra and Batra were supposed to fight Godzilla together. They were supposed to kill Godzilla together. But Batra went Leroy Jenkins and attacked Godzilla first and died. And the thing is, Mothra and Batra are not opposite numbers. Even in the original movie, they teamed up. Like, they're supposed to work together. Essentially, think in terms of the point of view series with Nature's Fury and Nature's Wrath. I mean, Nature's Law. Mothra is Nature's Law, Batra is Nature's Fury. Mothra is Nature's Mercy, Batra is Nature's Wrath. They both have a place, it's just Batra got a little too enthusiastic about the job. Yeah, they have actually inadvertently predicted the future sometimes. So, Haru connects to Batra. Batra doesn't give him full connection yet, but it's kind of in the back of his head. Like, Batra would sometimes like, in this idea, Batra telepathically connects with him sometimes, and maybe kind of prods him in a certain way. Like, Batra is an anti-hero. Like, when he's good, he's an anti-hero, when he's bad, he's an anti-villain. So that's it in this case. Second change to City on the Edge of Battle. The Billisaludo are not logically minded because that made no sense. Like, it's a good motivation, but it made no sense with their character in the previous movie. At no point do they act logic-driven. We're just informed they are. And that's more the Exilians thing in the original. The Billisaludo are driven by revenge in this version. Basically, when someone, like, suggests they leave, they basically say, you know, if we were in your, like, at least the thing that destroyed your planet had a face. At least it had a name. Show bitterness over the fact their planet was just destroyed by a random black hole, which is what happened. Have them be what Haru is taken to its logical extreme. Because that's a route you could take with them. That could make them sympathetic, because they've lost their planet twice now. Once to a black hole, once to Godzilla. So that's their motive. They will want to destroy Godzilla now that they got the chance, no matter what the cost. Because they are bitter, angry, and resentful. Because they've had their planet taken from them twice. So they're willing to do anything to get it back. And that makes them a good contrast to Haru. Like a good foil to him. And we let Yorubushi go nuts. We let him do everything he wanted to do. You know, Mechagodzilla heads. You know, turrets turn into Mechagodzilla heads. 1 kilometer tall Mechagodzilla. Yeah, that is true. You know, Yorubushi wanted to go nuts, let him go nuts. Let him do everything he wanted to with Mechagodzilla. But it still ends about the same way, only in this version, Haru, when Yoko dies... this is a movie that's been out for a while, so spoilers, but most of you either have seen it or don't care. Hi, Holy Cross, welcome back. Man, these are long credits. Like, I just realized how long these credits are. But it gives me a chance to talk. So, basically, same ending, but when Yoko dies, I cannot remember her name. When she dies, she does die at the end of the Edge of Battle, and then they artificially bring her back in the sea in Planet Eater. It doesn't make any sense. No sheep were harmed during the creation of this game. A few Gnorcs, but no sheep. Thank you for playing. Thank you for making the game. But in this one, let's just say, like, there's no point in her being brain dead because basically in Planet Eater, she's brain dead. Like, that's the first thing the Planet Eater is telling us, that she's brain dead. And that never goes anywhere. So, she just dies. Because there's no reason for her to still be alive in Planet Eater because she doesn't do anything. It doesn't go anywhere. Like, there's no difference between her actually being dead and her being brain dead. So what's the point of her being brain dead? So, she dies. That's not me being vindictive toward the character. She deserved better than she got. Okay. Ooh, what's this?
Nasty's ancient history now. So, what's in there?
I believe this is Nasty's treasure hoard. But the gate will only open if you have found everything in the Dragon Kingdom. Come back when you have reached 100%.
Yeah, I don't really have interest in doing that on the screen because it would take forever. We're going to move on to the next game. But we're going to move on to... Yeah, I'm going to probably do that off screen. Oh, that's kind of cool. He has a different pose in each one. Yeah, I do too. So we're going to go into Ripto's Rage. We're going to play it for the next hour. But... I'm not going to go over the top cutscene. I'll get into where I'm going to go with the Monster Plant. Also, if you're just showing up now, I really don't like I'm talking about how I would redo the Godzilla anime trilogy.
Is this rain ever gonna stop? I've forgotten what the sun looks like. We should go on vacation. Somewhere warm. Somewhere sunny.
Okay, now this game I've actually seen I've actually played the start for.
I haven't been there since we kicked Nasty Gnorc's butt. How about it, Sparks?
It's been a while since I've played. I've played it recently because I got it on PS1 and I got PS1 downstairs and played it. This cutscene's a lot better than the PlayStation 1 cutscene. It does a lot more.
Is it working, Professor?
Almost. Just a few more adjustments to these orbs and...
You missed me beating Gnorc.
Such a good idea. Bringing a dragon here could just make Ripto more angry.
Calm down, Hunter, and stop fidgeting.
Yeah, you did.
But you saw the professor's book. They have
Man, that's a better model.
And teeth like this. And they can spit fire like this.
Yeah. Jeez, his character model in the old game was terrifying because it had this really scary mouth.
Chance of stopping Ripto, and you know it.
It's working. It's working. I've got a dragon. Huh? Whoa, rough landing. Hi, which way's the beach? Hey, stop staring. Haven't you guys ever seen a dragon before?
You're a dragon?
You got a problem with that, pussycat?
Well. Someone forgot to invite me to the party.
I'm kind of on the fence about Ripto's design.
Were you trying to keep something from me?
I kind of on the fence about his redesign. I like the...
A dragon? You brought a dragon to Avalar? I hate dragons. Yeah! Crush! Kill it! Kill it!
I do like his characters, and his minions look better.
You imbecile! You ate my scepter! I'll deal with you later!
Who was that jerk?
That was Ripto, and we have to get rid of him. He's causing all sorts of trouble around here, but I haven't got time to explain. Here, take this magic guide to Avalar. It'll help you begin to understand our worlds. Right now, I have to follow Ripto and see what he's up to. I'll meet you in Summer Forest, okay?
Hey, wait a minute! How do we get ourselves into these messes, pal?
In this case, we kind of got kidnapped. But anyway, back to what I was saying. Like overall, it wasn't that Hunter had a bad design in the old one. Oh, you're adorable.
Hi, Spyro! Welcome to Glimmer! Unfortunately for us, a mob of lizards just showed up and started stealing all of our gems. Can you stop them?
Oh. So far, this is actually, this is kind of cool. Like, I like it, those guys are now adorable. Now, don't expect me to remember everything, because it's been a bit since I've played it, the other one, and I don't remember things very well sometimes. I do think these guys have a better design, nicely designed. But anyway, back to my idea for that. Essentially, at the end of the movie, instead of just, what we got, and for starters, we just hear Mephi say that, the F-Sif's deity is Ghidorah. I mean, the monster that destroyed the X of Homeworld, Ghidorah. There was no reason for that to be the stinger. It didn't really do anything. Okay, I like his design. Hi, Holy Cross again. But Haru essentially has his heel realization here. The realization that all he's done is be vengeful and selfish, and it's gotten a lot of people killed. He has that realization when his love interest dies here. And that is when Mothra and Batra hatch. The stinger in my retelling of the event, in my version, Mothra and Batra hatch at this point. That's the stinger. Mothra and Batra hatch from their eggs, and Haruho's connection to Batra fully fails. And then when we get into Planet Eater, and also this will contain some spoilers for Planet Eater. So, does anyone care if I spoil Planet Eater, or I'm pretty sure most of you, from the sound of it, have already seen it. Yeah, TV Tropes is kind of iffy. Oh, that's adorable. They're so much more expressive than they were in the old game. I'm pretty sure everyone here has either seen Planet Eater from the sound of it, or just doesn't give a darn.
Hi, Spyro. I'm a friend of Alora's, and she asked me to help you
There you
out.
go.
Whenever you find me, I'll remember your progress. Like this. That zap means that if you get into trouble, I'll return you to this place. See you around.
Also, if you're watching on the archive, I'm sorry I'm talking so much about the Godzilla anime trilogy. Okay, now this place is way prettier. This place is a lot prettier than it was in the old game. Okay, do you care about spoilers for it?
Like you are too. After you learn to climb, come back to Glimmer to see me.
Oh! Okay, they did actually add that. Yeah, that would be funny. Oh, hey, Moneybags.
You must be the dragon everyone's talking about. Well,
I like his
dragon or
design.
not, I'm afraid there is a small fee to open the bridge. Thank you,
whatever.
Mr. Dragon. Spyro, was it? You can now use the bridge whenever you want, free of charge. I hope we meet again when you have even more gems.
So, Holy Cross, do you care if I spoil Planet Eater? You said you read the synopsis, so I'm assuming you don't. This place is a lot prettier than it was in the original game. Yeah, he does kind of, doesn't he? He's still annoying.
get a good look around.
Okay, like I heard they actually cut some of this. Yeah, I mean, that's one problem I had with, Holy Cross, do you care about can you please tell me if you care about spoilers for Planet Eater, so I know, because I don't think XX cares. If he does, please tell me. I'm very willing to listen if you actually do. Well, actually, the first parts don't really spoil anything for Planet Eater because it's completely original. So I'll talk to those parts when I get to the spoilers for Planet Eater itself. Okay, so I just need to know from Holy Cross what he thinks. But, okay, I can't get up there right now, apparently. But, okay, basically, Planet Eater in this version would begin with the survivors making it back to the hotel.
Thanks for helping us fight off the lizards. Please take
Okay.
this talisman of glimmer as a sign of our gratitude.
Cool. Okay.
This magic portal next to me will take you to Summer Forest, one of the home worlds of Avalar.
Kinda. Okay, I'm going to, since no one cares about spoilers anymore, I'm going to explain what happens in basically every named female character in the entirety of Planet Eater that actually matters to the plot, at one point or another shares a romantic scene with Haruo in Planet Eater. His love interest, he's grieving over the fact his love interest is now brain dead, in the beginning, and reacts naturally to that, which would be fine. But then one of the Mothra the Mothra twins tries to. That's actually a good question. I don't think they ever explained that.
These little lizards have eaten my entire crop of gems. I've tried hitting them with rocks, but they're too fast for me. You can try using one of my rocks. If you have any questions...
Okay.
Nice shooting. Follow me to the next lizard.
But then the nice Mothra twin, like the good Mothra twin, tries to make love to Haruo, or as they call connect life. He turns her down.
You can spit pretty far, Spyro. See if you...
Hi, Amy Roach. Amy Roach, do you care about spoilers for Godzilla Planet Eater?
To hit that lizard up high, you'll have to aim.
You mean, oops. Yeah, welcome to the stream. I'm talking about Godzilla Planet Eater. I was talking about Godzilla Planet Eater, which, if it got you a WTF moment, that's because it is a WTF, thing. Godzilla Planet, this is not Godzilla Planet Eater. Godzilla Planet Eater is an anime. A really, really bad anime. Okay. So, that, I'm assuming that means you have no interest in actually seeing Godzilla Planet Eater, so I can continue to talk about it. Okay, that's interesting. to stop talking about the thing I was talking about with that because I can't really go any further without being explicit. But let me just point out that the other mean Mothra chick actually does do that with Haru. It's as awkward as it sounds. Like, Mothra is the only female character in the entirety of Planet Eater that does not make any romantic scene with Haru, and I'm thankful for that. But
you can pick up a rock in your mouth by just walking up to it.
oh, okay. Where am I looking? Oh.
Yay! You've saved my crop of gems from the lizards. Here, take this orb.
Yeah, that could be
Some girl
a
with wings
thing.
dropped it here yesterday.
But yeah, that's what I mean. And don't worry, that's not happening in my rewrite. But essentially, at that point, you know, Planet Eater is then about them finding out that Mothra and Batra have hatched. And essentially, they try. Basically, the point is Mothra and Batra have entered their cocoons, and the humans humans decide, okay, are basically told that Mothra and Batra over the last 20,000 years, like Godzilla, have the reason they only hatch now is because they've only now gained enough. They've been gaining strength like Godzilla has. Basically, these Mothra and Batra are just as strong, are stronger than the originals, as much as Godzilla Earth is than he was 20,000 years ago. So essentially, they've grown the same amount as Godzilla has in their eggs. Which basically means they're as proportionally as powerful to Godzilla Earth as their original selves were to him 20,000 years ago. Okay, now, let's see, where do I go now? Keep in mind, it's been, this game has changed so much that I'm actually not sure where everything, it's not changed much in terms of, layout. I don't think it's changed all that much in terms of layout. But, yeah. So essentially, that is what they're trying to do. Is trying to get Mothra and Batra to they've got to protect them from Godzilla Earth, until they can hatch from their cocoons and beat him. So essentially, they knew this 20,000 years ago that if Mothra and Batra fought Godzilla together, they could beat him. They could kill him. They could stop Godzilla for good. So they now know that, they still know this. So the humans now have the option of helping Mothra and make sure Mothra and Batra survive their cocoon phase and are able to stop Godzilla. Ghidorah's going to be here. Ghidorah is still involved in the plot. Also, I heard that this wasn't actually in the game. Someone told me that part of the jumping mechanics got left out of the update. Out of the reboot. Did I miss something? Oh, what's this?
Great! The Superfly power-up is active, and you can restart our gem lamps. Flame all the lamps quickly, and the big gem lamp will light. The power-up will give you enough magic to fly.
I'm pretty sure some of this is new. Oh, it's not? Okay. Then I just missed it, apparently. But basically, one problem I had with Godzilla the Planet Eater
but I like gems better. You take
is
it instead.
Essentially everyone suddenly was part of the Ghidorah cult. Like, suddenly everyone was part of Ghidorah's cult out of nowhere. Like, no build-up, no nothing. They just suddenly are part of Ghidorah's cult. So, in this version, it's more divisive. That's actually a good question. Why do they have a power-up exclusively for dragons? That's weird. Game logic. Yeah, that's, you know, you think in the Legends continuity, like, the purple dragons might have a cult. Like, you would think that. But, yeah, suddenly everyone's part of Ghidorah's cult. And also, here's a big change. I did not like how they kept referring to Ghidorah as just God. I did not like that. It just felt too ham-fisted and kind of offensive in some ways. Like, I get it, he's the Exif's god. Like, he is the Exif's deity. But just having him only referred to as God always felt kind of ambitious to me, and I just didn't think it worked. So what we are going to go with here is the Exif, when they refer to Ghidorah in that context, refer to him as Zero. The Exif are Exilian XBs, and that's their why they have a connection to Ghidorah. So in this version, they refer to Ghidorah when they don't use his name as Zero. Because in the original, he was Monster Zero. So that's how we do, that's what we do in this one, is he is referred to exclusively by the Exif as Zero until they say his name. So here's the way things go. The Bella Saludo still do their rebellion on board the ship. Oh, you were in Tarb's live stream? Oh yeah, you were, weren't you? Huh. I can't remember, honestly. I'm sorry. But in this case, the Bella Saludo still do their rebellion on the ship for Mechagodzilla City being destroyed. Or Mechagodzilla, in this case, it turned into 1 kilometer tall Mechagodzilla like Urabushi wanted. And it did nearly kill Godzilla. Like, that still happened. Okay.
Oh, no.
I was, Godzilla, I'm Godzilla Wolf, so, over there.
Oh, hello. We didn't get a chance to introduce ourselves before.
I was one of the ones
My
talking.
name is Laura.
Hi. I'm Spyro. What are you, some kind of goat?
I'm a fawn, you dork.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, I like the animations, and the voice acting here. It makes it a lot sweeter.
They gave me a souvenir, too. They called it a talisman.
They gave you a talisman?
What, is it special? I just stuck it in the guidebook you gave me.
Well, there are 14 talismans in Avalar, and they are all magical. If you can collect enough of them, they
Hi,
can be used
Moneybags.
to defeat Ripto. Hunter, where have you been?
Oh, I got a little lost.
Yeah, that's how Dark
Spyro's gonna help
Spyro would
us
talk.
collect the talismans.
I am?
He is.
Spyro, look. There's no way you can get to Dragon Shores right now. Ripto and his monsters have taken over the castle here in the Summer Forest. You're going to have to go to Avalar's world and convince
That's
the
a good-
inhabitants
that's one
to
way
give
you can
you
look
their
at it.
talisman. You can keep them in your guidebook.
Hey,
I'm just assuming Sparks keeps it in hammer space.
Just torch Ripto.
Hunter, you can't even keep track of your running shoes. How can we trust you with 14 talismans? If you come across any orbs, they're important too. But I'll tell you about them later.
Okay, no problem. I'll collect a few talismans. Give
I love
Ripto
Spyro's
and be in
animations.
Dragon Shores by lunchtime.
That is so much more characterful than the original game. It really is. Like, they added a lot of character to that. Okay, but here's where things diverge from Planet Eater's original plot. The people on Earth are not do not instantly start joining Ghidorah's cult. But the people up on the Atrum, the ship, do. So the people up on the ship, due to it being them not having they don't know about. Okay, Pole, enjoy dinner. Oh, that's cute. Hello, sheep. But essentially, the people up on the ship, due to basically not knowing what's going on, and being in a situation where the engine room just got shut down by a rebellion and all sorts of other stuff happening, and them not knowing what's going on. As far as they know, everyone on the ground is dead or something. Like, as far as they know, like, things are hopeless and there's no way to stop Godzilla otherwise. The people down on the ground do know that there's another option, but the people up on the ship don't. So the people up on the ship are more likely to join the cult.
Spyro, this is the homeworld called Summer Forest. There are portals to many of the Avalar worlds around here. Unfortunately, Ripto has taken over the castle, and we need your help. Start by retrieving the talismans from each of the worlds you visit.
Okay, so basically, the people up on the ship the people up on the ship that joined the cult in the original still do. But the people down on the ground, they don't necessarily start worshipping Mothra, but they start looking towards Mothra as the way to beat Godzilla. Mothra and Batra as the way to beat Godzilla. Because they're told the story of what happened in the past, where Mothra beat Godzilla in their first fight. Because Mothra in the anime series, if you missed my explanation of that, beat Godzilla in their first fight. And Mothra and Batra and Godzilla had 2 fights. We don't know the outcome of it, and this is really beautiful. Like, not a lot of has changed in this, but it looks a lot better. So, yeah, like, Jackie Chan Adventures Spyro crossover, that would be fun. I'll talk to you in a second. What's this do? Oh, it's just a shortcut.
Hey, Spyro. Ripto smashed this bridge, so I guess you'll have to glide across it. Press the...
But essentially, Mephies begins to have a breakdown. Like, he begins to have a villainous breakdown. Because things are not going the way he wanted them to on Earth. And we get an idea of that from the movie, because when Mothra has her 5-second cameo, he does call her that blasphemous, and clearly shows some emotion there. So that's basically his mindset throughout this. He is not happy, because he still has the same plan. His plan is still to have Haruo be Ghidorah's physical tether. He still wants him to be the true tether to Ghidorah, to let him become to let him fully cross over into our universe. And that is quickly becoming very difficult to do. So basically, Mephies begins to break down, because things are not going his way anymore. If you've read the Bridge Halloween chapter, it's kind of like what he does there.
The dragonfly following you around is...
Yeah, that I know already. I wish they'd taken out the repetitive dialogue, but the repetitive instructions, but I get why they didn't. So Mephies begins to have a bit of a breakdown. Like, he manages to get some people to agree to the ritual to summon Ghidorah, but most of the people that agree, and that really creepy scene of Ghidorah's shadow killing people takes place, but now it's up on the ship. Like, he still does it on the ground, and it still kills the people that he manages to convert, and Ghidorah still shows up. But here's where things differ. For one, Ghidorah, basically in this one, since Mephies is a bit more desperate, Ghidorah does not completely destroy the ship. He attacks it, but before he can completely destroy it, Mephies basically tells him, we need you down here. Basically, if you don't come here, you're not getting your tether. Because he needs Haruo to not be... He needs Ghidorah to basically kill Godzilla first. That's basically what he's trying to do at this point, is he wants Ghidorah to kill Godzilla before Mothra and Batra can.
You look like you're pretty agile. Let's try putting it to a test. See if you can get up this first step. Press the jump button and hold it down to... Okay, not bad. Now to make this next jump, you'll have to glide. Press the jump button, then press jump again at the top of your jump to get the maximum glide distance.
Huh, that's interesting.
Nice job.
That is an interesting
now,
idea.
try to do a hover. Press the jump button, then press jump again to glide.
So essentially, at this point, Ghidorah...
Very good. Now for the hardest leap of all. You'll have to give this one everything you've got. Get a walking start, jump, glide, and hover just before you get to the edge of the platform. Don't forget to press forward on the left stick when you hover.
But basically what happens is there's a change to the fight between Godzilla and
You're a
Ghidorah.
pretty good athlete. If I hadn't lost my running shoes, I'd take you on for real. For now, here's an orb for your collection.
So essentially, there's one big change to the fight between Ghidorah and Godzilla. Godzilla still can't hurt Ghidorah. Like, at this point, Godzilla still can't hurt Ghidorah. And the ship is crippled. It is falling to Earth. But Ghidorah departs before he can destroy it because Nephthys wants Godzilla to be killed by Ghidorah, not by Mothra and Batra. Because if he's killed by Mothra and Batra, he loses... he basically loses. Nephthys needs Haruo to give in to Ghidorah. And if Godzilla's killed by anyone other than Ghidorah, that's just not going to happen. So that's the reason that Ghidorah does not destroy the ship. And there's a reason that Ghidorah does not destroy the ship other than saving someone. And the reason for that...
Walk to the edge, press the jump button, press jump again at the top of your jump, then press the action button when you get
it doesn't bother me at all. I'd be a bit more...
Wow, you're a
Wait, did he just give me a second orb? No, okay. I thought he did. I don't think that was supposed to happen. I like those. Those are cool. Like, I do like. Okay, so we're gonna head over here to Colossus. So basically that's what we're going with here, is that Ghidorah, and I'm probably going to make a video exclusively about this at some point, but Ghidorah and Godzilla fight, and Ghidorah is still invulnerable, but he's not intangible. Godzilla can still fight back and fend him, like push him away and knock him away, but he cannot fight him. Like, he will lose if they keep fighting. I like that redesign for the Yeti. He looks a lot cooler now. I like their redesign, too. Like, overall, I like these redesigns for this level. Somehow I didn't notice that's what happened in the original, if it happened there.
A Yeti has been rampaging around our home, but we've managed to trap him by shutting all the doors. If you talk to the other brothers, they will open the gates and guide you to him.
I like those voices. That's a good voice for a monk. That is actually a really good voice for a monk. A good choice of voice actor. I don't know, like, in the original they were very indescribable. You know, you guys attack me. I know that. But, essentially, Godzilla will lose. Like, he is losing. But he's actually, like, the fight isn't just Godzilla stands there with Ghidorah latched onto him for 40 minutes. Godzilla can't hurt Ghidorah, and he is going to lose. But, I mean, he would lose if things keep going. But...
by concentrating, I should be able to open this door for you.
Okay, that's cool. But, essentially, Ghidorah will beat Godzilla eventually. Okay, that is intimidating now. Like, these guys are a lot scarier now. Like, but so Ghidorah is still Godzilla is still losing to Ghidorah, and Ghidorah is still going to destroy the planet. But essentially, what ends up happening is the confrontation between Nephthys and Haruo does happen, and it happens similarly with a dream sequence. But in this one, instead of Mothra coming to their aid, it's Batra through his connection to Haruo. And essentially what Haruo does is, instead of take the gem that channels Ghidorah and lets him manifest, instead of that being what happens, Haruo...
Who needs a key when you know how to chant like this?
Yeah, penguins.
Enemies like those yaks are too big to be charged. Your flame attack should easily take care of Locke.
But essentially, what Haruo does is he takes the gem from Nephthys. Nephthys thinks he's going to use it to connect to Ghidorah, but instead he uses it to connect to Batra and Mothra. Through the twins are contacting, the twin is contacting him through Mothra. Batra's contacting him through... I'm not sure, they have not explained that yet. But basically, Mothra and Batra essentially are connected to him. He uses it to connect to them and power them up.
Each time you defeat an enemy, it will release a spirit particle. The spirit particles will activate the power-up in that world. If a power-up is inactive, you need to defeat more enemies.
Okay, that's interesting. But basically, Mothra and Batra, he connects to them instead of Ghidorah, which also severs Ghidorah's connection to Nephthys, which makes Ghidorah become physical. However, unlike the actual movie, censored message, what? I have not seen that. I'm not sure. I don't know what you're meaning. But instead, and Nephthys completely snaps at this point. But instead of becoming a complete wimp, essentially in Godzilla the Planet Eater, once Ghidorah becomes physical, he goes down in 2 or 3 hits. Ghidorah just gets completely curb stomped. Okay, I don't know what that is. It might be that we're having a snowstorm, actually. That could be it. Because we are having a snowstorm. But essentially, in the Planet Eater, Ghidorah gets curb stomped. At this point, he just gets completely destroyed. That is not what happens here. In this situation, Ghidorah... he gets hurt by Godzilla and reacts to it, but instead of getting curb stomped, he gets mad. And even though he's not connected to Haruo, he is still... basically, he knows if they fail here, the X-Ifs are done. If the X-Ifs die here, they are done. So, he's done. He's no longer got a connection to this reality. He has to go all out. It's basically all or nothing at this point, which is basically what it was in the movie, but they never actually addressed it. Oh, I need the power-up to do that. Okay. So Ghidorah emerges completely. We know he has a full form that's not just 3 heads. So basically, he emerges from the black hole completely and starts fighting Godzilla one-on-one. And he's not as massive as the necks suggest because the necks are out of proportion to the rest of him. So he's still going to be huge. He's still going to be much bigger than Godzilla Earth. So I'm going to say he's 500 meters. Ghidorah is 500 meters tall in this. Oh no, actually we had a 1 kilometer Mechagodzilla, so let's say he's a 1 kilometer Ghidorah. So he is huge. Ghidorah is gigantic. And he can start fighting Godzilla, and Godzilla Earth goes Scarlet Godzilla Earth. That's portion of the fight, and they fight. Godzilla uses the Spyro Ray, which he did not use in the movie, but he canonically has. Okay, that was cool. I think I need to see what I need to do. I become Sonic for a few seconds. Okay, what do I do with this? I mean, I know I can get up here. I think in the original it just made you super jump. I'm pretty sure in the original that's just a super jump. And you know what? Actually, I'm going to say 500 meters with Ghidorah. I'm going to say he's 500 meters. So he's still a lot bigger than Godzilla, but he's not freakishly huge. But he is stronger than Mechagodzilla. And strong enough to fight Godzilla, like, strong enough to be somewhat overpowering Godzilla Earth until he goes Scarlet Godzilla Earth until he starts using the Spiral Ray. So the fight is pretty even at that point. Then Mothra and Batra emerge from their cocoon, and it's at this point we see the ship start to enter the atmosphere, like the ship up in space starting to enter the atmosphere. Mothra and Batra join the fight and essentially fight Godzilla Earth and King Ghidorah in a three-way. It's a three-way fight.
Even though I'm a vegetarian, I think you should torch that Yeti. He's pretty tough, though. In fact, I'm not sure you're up to it.
I remember that from the game.
It's
just
tougher than that. I guess he was all bark. Ruff, ruff. Anyway, I was just guarding our sacred talisman to make sure the Yeti didn't eat it.
That'd be interesting. So, and Ghidorah... So they fight, like, it's a three-way fight, and eventually Ghidorah is the first, is destroyed, Ghidorah starts to lose. At this point, essentially, he begins to lose because it's 3-on-1. I mean, it's basically, well, it's not 3-on-1, but all three are attacking him. And he was already worn down from fighting Godzilla. Like, he's weakening, Godzilla Earth is weakening, and that's the thing, they've weakened each other. That might be the case, I don't know. Whee! Okay, I like his skating animation. The skating animation is fun. In this case, I'm saying he's 300 meters. They actually have a picture of what Ghidorah's true full form looks like. You can find it on YouTube, but he's 500 meters in this case. So the fight continues. Ghidorah essentially they trick Godzilla, like Mothra and Batra, get Ghidorah and Godzilla Earth to hit each other.
Spyro.
And wound each other.
We have found that hockey is a peaceful and calming sport. Would you like to join in a match against our goal?
Yeah, this is going to be interesting.
To score 5.
I wonder how they've changed this, because this is kind of fun in the original. I like his design. Okay. Okay, I can't, like, move faster. I can flame it, though. Interestingly enough, like, in the original, okay, that was a bad shot. So, I'm trying to decide which one would die first, Ghidorah or Godzilla. Godzilla's the main antagonist of the whole thing, so it feels like he should die first. I mean, he should die last. So we're going to say Ghidorah is destroyed first. And got it. So Ghidorah is destroyed first. Like Godzilla Earth destroys Ghidorah, but he's aiming like the way I see it, Mothra and Batra essentially make sure Ghidorah dies first because Ghidorah's going to destroy the entire planet. So Mothra uses her scales to reflect Godzilla's Spiral Ray into Ghidorah and attack him at the same time, and that Ghidorah's dead. Ghidorah's destroyed first. And there's multiple reasons for that, but I feel it's thematically appropriate that Ghidorah is destroyed before Godzilla is. Memphis kind of has his last moment, like he has in there, and he basically does have a bit of a meltdown. In this, no, I'm gonna say he dies in a way, not peacefully, but kind of somberly. Let's say that he dies somberly. Then Mothra and Batra fight Godzilla and do some combined attack, and Godzilla is killed. Godzilla is finished off by Mothra and Batra.
You must focus your... You have 2 minutes...
So that's where that ends. Now, basically, it is a big fight. Like it's basically a 3-way battle: Mothra and Batra versus Godzilla and versus King Ghidorah. And and essentially at this point, that's when they notice the. No, actually, I'm actually going to make a little bit of a change to what I was saying. Godzilla Earth. Basically, Haru has a perfect chance to kill Godzilla Earth first. But instead, he actually notices the ship falling from the sky. Like, the ship is that Ghidorah critically damaged falling from the sky. So that happens at this point. And he, through his link with Batra, tells Mothra and Batra to save the ship. And I admit this is partially inspired by the end of the Halloween episode for the bridge that featured this stuff. And this is a big because it's Haru basically letting go of his grudge, and instead of saying, okay, I'm going to watch Godzilla die, he still wants Godzilla to die, but he's willing to give up a chance to save everyone. So he tells Mothra and Batra to break off the engagement to Godzilla and Ghidorah to save the ship. And at that point, basically they save the ship, while the fight continues between just Godzilla and Ghidorah. And Godzilla kills Ghidorah. Like, in this one, Godzilla kills Ghidorah with his Spiral Ray while they're off. And Haru basically has a bit of a epiphany where he basically realizes at this point he doesn't necessarily care about whether or not Godzilla is seeing Godzilla die. He doesn't care anymore. He just wants to okay, I'm gonna lose this time.
You must focus.
Okay, how many do I need to do? 5? Okay, this feels harder than it did. I'm not sure if it is or not. I'm also talking and live streaming at the same time, so that probably has something to do with it. But yeah, basically Haru, instead of watching Batra and Mothra finish Godzilla off, chooses to rush to the ship and check to make sure everyone's alright. So he does not actually see Godzilla be defeated. And he chooses not to see Godzilla be defeated. Haru basically puts the lives of everyone on the ship ahead of seeing his grudge fulfilled. So essentially what happens is Batra and Mothra return to the fight while Haru is walking away from the fight. Like, we the audience still see the fight, but Haru doesn't care anymore. He knows Batra and Mothra are going to win. Like, he is sure of that. But he doesn't care. Like, he does not care if he sees them kill Godzilla Earth or not. This is actually harder than I remember it being. I don't have any means to actually maneuver, like... There. So Godzilla... so Mothra and Batra do kill Godzilla Earth. But it's done in... they basically do it...
Well done.
Got it.
Have this. Would you like to try again? Come back if...
Yeah, I don't really feel the need to do that. Now, I could... I'm not sure. Because we've been on this one for a while. What do you think? Should I do the rest to get the other ones, or should I just continue? Actually, there's stuff over here I need to look at. But, yeah, basically Godzilla Earth is killed by Mothra and Batra. But it's done in a way that essentially Haruo doesn't really... he just burn him. Like... I mean, I could, but they're monks. I'm not going to, because that seems rude. I think there's a reason you didn't have on this. No. Okay. But essentially, yeah, Haruo beats... I mean... Well, I'm not sick of the piece... Okay, so leave. Okay. Oh, crud. That was stupid on my part. Ah! But, basically, the... Ghidorah is killed by Godzilla Earth. Godzilla is killed by Mothra and Batra. And everything begins to rebuild. The stupid ending that happens does not happen. Like, essentially the ending would be humanity beginning to rebuild. Yeah, it's about time to end the live stream anyway. I just wanted to finish that. Also, I like these. Oh, whoop. Well, it's about time to stop the live stream anyway, so... I like the expressions a lot better. Like, the expressions are a lot better in this one. Like, one that's just a graphic update, but it helps a lot. But anyway, that's what I think they should have done with an anime trilogy. Ah. Okay, sorry. And sorry I ended up talking about a lot about Godzilla Planet Eater. Okay, Paul, actually you're just in time for us to leave. Because I'm actually going to end the live stream because we've been at it for 2 hours. So anyway, next week we'll be doing Okame again, and Wednesday I'm going to be doing Silver Lining. And there will be no video Monday because Deltarune accidentally put up Deltarune on Friday instead, the Deltarune episode that was meant for Monday. So there's not going to be an episode of Deltarune on Monday because that was actually posted yesterday on accident. Yeah, they do a continuation of the Showa series. That would actually be interesting. Yeah, the chat's still working, Paul. But yeah, I was just doing a sign off. I just put up my review of Cutthroat from the Power of the Primes line. Later this week I'm going to put my review for Ripper Snapper. So keep your eye out for that. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the live stream and me giving my details on how I fixed the anime trilogy. And hope you guys enjoyed this. Like, comment, and subscribe. See you guys next time. Bye! I still won't have a catchphrase.